Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Matt Bernier, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Thursday, April the 6th is race number 7 at San Anita. We're going 1 1/8 miles on the turf. It is for 3-year-olds, and it's an optional claiming event. Let's take a look at this field. The number 8, Ritzy AP, is going to be scratched, which will leave us with a field of 8. Remember to head on over to the Race of the Day event page on DRF.com, download those free Formulator past performances, and handicap along with us as we take you in post position order. And the number 1, Matt, Small Town Hero, one of several in here trying turf for the first time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this one takes to it. Not a ton as far as pedigree is concerned. It is interesting, though. This is what you would figure to be the speed nearest the rail. I think there's one way for this horse to go, and that's to the front. Didn't love what we saw most recently. I know he still drew off at the end, never changed leads. I have questions about going out to the extra 1 1/8 miles, and I have no idea about the turf.
He's done nothing wrong in 2 starts around 2 turns on dirt, but I think you're right about the perhaps lack of pedigree for turf. Jersey Town, still a little bit too early to judge him. He's only 0 for 7 with first-time turf runners. The Dam was a stakes winner on the main track, but she failed to win from 2 starts on the turf. The Dam's a half to a stakes place synthetic runner. Maybe that gives this horse a little bit of hope, but he owes you nothing if you've backed Small Town Hero throughout his career. 10-1 maiden winner, 41-1 winner last time out. Speed, always dangerous, dirt or turf in Southern California. The number 2 is Farley, and it's been a tale of 2 pace scenarios in the last 2 races for Farley. 2 starts back, first time off a layoff, up close to a fast pace, paid the price. Last time out going down the hill, allowed to walk on the lead, and it worked out much better for Farley.
Yeah, you want to talk about, you probably won't see a slower pace going down the hill. They were 45-3, I believe, for a half mile, and he just, at that point, it's very difficult for anyone to make up any sort of ground. The concern is, as you sort of laid it out, in his 2-turn races, he's been close to hot paces. And I suppose this thing looks like it's going to shape up pretty quick early on. I don't know how good the speeds early are, but they figure to be out there. I also question how far this horse wants to go.
And number 3 is Double Touch. This is a horse racing in North America for the first time. He's now in the Dan Blacker barn, and this horse sold for about $90,000 after his most recent start in England, where he finished a non-threatening 6th and kind of a weak field. I know the 4th place finisher came back to win one of those similar nursery handicaps. Double Touch is well spotted. They didn't throw him to the wolves for his first North American start, but I have a feeling he might be in a little tough.
Still going to need to improve. If you just want to look at the Timeform ratings and compare those to the Timeform US ratings, I understand he's been gone for a long time. It's going to be his first start as a 3-year-old, and he gets Lasix, but boy, he's just in a different world right now. He's going to need to step up in a big way.
Number 4 is Sharp Samurai. This is another trying turf for the first time. He's by First Samurai, only 8% with first-time turf runners. Sharp Samurai won his second lifetime start, pace-pressing performance. Last time out, he was in against some good 3-year-olds. He seems to fit well from a class standpoint.
Yeah, it's worth noting when he broke his maiden, he was in for 75 that day as well, and he just drew off and won for fun. You brought up the First Samurai. Don't love that. Not a huge win rate as far as first-time turfers are concerned. The Dam was a half to a horse called Academic, though. She won the Woodbine Oaks back a few years ago now, and she was about $1,000,000 that day when she did so. But it at least gives you some sort of hope that maybe this sort of surface is going to be okay for her.
And the Dam's also a half to a stakes winner on the turf named Awesome Fire. So a little bit of pedigree here. 84 buyer on dirt in his second start. Really nothing to sneeze at, but he might be close to what is expected to be a solid pace. Of the horses trying turf for the first time, I think the argument can be made that the number 5 Brokeaway Gray is best bred for the surface.
Yeah, you see the Broken Vow. I don't have a problem with that. About 10% with the first-time turfers. This one is a half to 2 turf winners. All things considered, I have to be honest, I didn't love the debut. The pace just completely collapsed, and I didn't think this horse was, he looked like he was flying at the end, but I think it was a product of everyone else absolutely crawling hands and knees. He was in for 75 that day. Ron Ellis, though, never wins with first-time starters, so whenever that happens, you always have to kind of perk your ears up a little bit. And I suppose if you're going to try the turf, what better field than this? I mean, Glacier, who we'll talk about in a moment, decent enough horse, no superstar. I think you could take a shot with him.
I think you make some good points about Brokeaway Gray, and it's possible we'll get another pace one more time to run at this time. And you mentioned his pedigree. He's also a half to a grade 3 place turf runner named Mystic Mama. He seems well spotted for his turf debut. You mentioned Glacier, the number 6. Before we get into him, here's a positive formulator fact for Bob Baffert. And maybe you don't expect Baffert to do well with these last out maiden winners on turf as 3-year-olds, but he does well with everything. 30% to $6.68 return on investment. Glacier costs lost $1.2 million at public auction. Yes, he did win last time out, but you have to consider him a disappointment thus far.
I mean, he must have been the best looking son of Broken Vow you've ever seen. If it was a Florida bred for $1.2 million, they tried dirt, didn't work, shipped him to California. The thing for me that's most interesting about this horse, I don't think he's gotten any better. I think he just happened to catch a field that he was better than most recently, and I think he's going to need to improve if he's going to win.
Not only did he catch a field that he was better than, but he got pace.
Yes.
Now he might get pace one more time, but these are tougher horses. And at 5-2 on the morning line, he might go off less than that, 2-1, 9-5 at post time. I'm against Glacier for that reason. He needed a lot of help last time out from a pace standpoint. He got a really nice ride from Rafael Bejarano coming around him on the turn. Let's see him do it again against better runners. The number 7 is Offshore. This horse has not been seen since the Eddie Logan on December the 30th. He returns off of a long layoff as a new gelding for Neil Drysdale.
Yeah, he's the one in here that, if you don't trust some of the other cheaper speeds, try and turf for the first time, you don't like Glacier, Offshore makes a lot of sense in here. His numbers as a 2-year-old are comparable. They're not that far off from what it's going to take to win in a race like this. Been gone for some time, gets gelded. Drysdale sneaky well with some of these types. I have no knocks against this horse, really.
He doesn't have speed. The layoff is probably the biggest concern, although he did run well fresh to win his career debut. He also was compromised, I thought, in both the Zuma Beach and the Eddie Logan by minor traffic issues. He wasn't going to win either one of those races, but I don't think he really had the clear shot that Glacier had in his maiden race coming all the way around. He sort of stayed in and tried to work his way in between horses. This time, if the pace is hot, I'm hoping Arroyo maybe follows Glacier's cover and comes outside.
Yeah, I feel like the traffic was much more significant two back. The most recent start in the Eddie Logan, I think it was a combination of things. There's a lot of moisture in that turf course as well, and it was difficult to make up some ground. So I don't want to hold any of that against him. I think he fits in here. He's very logical.
Obviously kept good company in those stakes tries as a 2-year-old Sistron, who finished third in the Eddie Logan, came back to win his 1X with a 79 buyer, and then ran third in the Pasadena with an 88. Risky AP is going to be scratched. That draws the 9 Saburo into the race, a $600,000 son of Medaglia d'Oro, who's only raced once sprinting on the dirt, did not do any running whatsoever. It's kind of an interesting placement from a class standpoint, although distance and pedigree indicates turf should be okay.
A very bizarre placement, in my opinion. I know he took some money in that debut, but he never picked his feet up. He was outrun early on, and he was outrun throughout. You look at it, you see the damage to half of JP's Gusto, who was okay as far as the synthetic tracks are concerned. I would need every bit of 20-1.
Let's go with our top selections for Thursday's race of the day. The 7th at Santa Anita. Broke Away Gray is where you're going to go. 6-1 on the morning line. Probably will go off less than that now with the scratch of Ritzy AP.
I pegged him at 5-1, and you bring up Ritzy AP. I have to be honest, I was going to pick Ritzy AP until we found out he was out. I have no interest in this race.
I'll go with Offshore. I wouldn't take much less than the 3-1 on the morning line because I wonder if this is just a stepping stone for a race like the Oceanside at Del Mar down the road. But I think he did some good things last year at 2. 3-1 on the line for the 7 Offshore. 7-6-2-3 for me in the race of the day. Matt's taking a seat unless he gets a big price with the 5 Broke Away Gray. 5-6-7 for Matt in the race of the day. And if you happen to be playing the Santa Anita Thursday card from home, a $300 sign-up bonus is available to new DRF Bet subscribers, and all you have to do is head on over to drf.com/trifecta. Approximate post time for the 7th at Santa Anita on Thursday is 4 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.